Hey you guys, it's me in New York. Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, hi, I'm Audrey. I make content here on YouTube, but also TikTok and Instagram as well. So if you like this video or any of the other videos I post, you can always subscribe here or follow me on Instagram or follow me on TikTok. TikTok's mainly my comedy videos, my skits, you know, sometimes we have some fashion sprinkled in there. Instagram is mainly fashion. And then my YouTube channel is all lifestyle and fashion and vlogs. So if that sounds up your alley, I would love to have you here. So for today's video, I'm going to be taking you guys through my New York City apartment hunt. It's so crazy. Like, I'm sitting in my childhood bedroom right now filming this, so it still hasn't really settled in that I'm going to be moving to New York. I've been to New York, I mean, I can't count how many times I've been to New York. I've been to New York so many times for very extended periods of time. So I have a pretty good idea of the city and what it's like to be there, yet I've never lived there, and I've never lived 100% alone. So this is the first time that I won't be living at home and I won't be living with roommates. For the past 4 years, I always had a roommate. I had a roommate freshman year in my dorm, a roommate sophomore year in my sorority house, and then roommates for the past 2 years in my house down at Elon. And I love having roommates. The literal only reason why I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can do roommates is one, because I have so much stuff. Like, the amount of stuff that is always just coming in and out of my house with packages, PR, clothes, everything. Just like everything. I just have so much shit. And I also have so much stuff lying around, such as my tripods, my backdrop for auditions, packages I need to send back, packages I still need to open, all the things. Like, there's just so much stuff. And I honestly just felt really bad for my roommates down at school that I had all of this stuff, and there genuinely was just nowhere to put it at a certain point. Like, you know what, you could only clean it up so much. And we had a humongous house. And if that happened in a house, imagine how horrible it would be in a 3 or 4 person shoebox apartment. Yeah, so I didn't want to do that. I also sometimes get self-tapes that are due the next day. So say it's like 6 p.m. and I'm ready to just wind down, do whatever, same with my roommates, and then I get a self-tape request that's due noon tomorrow. Well, that means that your girl has to stay up and might be filming very well at 1 a.m., which also is not ideal. So I wanted to have that flexibility of being able to film something at 1 a.m. and not feeling like a burden, and not keeping my roommates up for hours and hours on end, or, you know, annoying them with my singing and asking everybody to be quiet while I'm filming a brand deal. So yeah, overall, I would have loved to live with my roommates from school. That's who I would have lived with. So I think that ultimately the best thing for me was for me to just get my own space. So as some of you may know, the market in New York City is absolutely horrible right now, as well as like most other places. It's just really bad. And the prices are the highest that they've ever been since, I think, before COVID. So yeah, not great. Not the most ideal time to be moving to New York City, but also I gotta chase my dreams. And this is what dreams are made of, and I gotta get to NYC. They really said, let's jack up these studios and one beds. You are not getting anything for under $3,500. You're not getting anything. I'm just kidding. There is stuff under $3,500, but I will tell you my budget and all of the things. But when you're moving to New York, especially in a market like this, you need to make some compromises, maybe not necessarily get all of the things you want if you're going to be able to afford to live in the city. But I do work hard for my money. I make my own money, so this is me paying for it. So please don't come in my comments and be like, daddy's money. It's like, I really wish that my parents paid my entire rent. They do not, and they're not going to. They did at like school, but not in NYC. They said, bye girl, later girlfriend. Why are you running?
Why are you running? Why are you running?
At the beginning of my search, my budget was around $3,600, and I really wanted to keep it below that. I never thought that I could afford more than that. Technically, I can. Like, if you look at my income from last year and projected income for this year, I can afford it. Do I want to pay that much? No, I don't. But is where I live a huge part of my life because I work at home and film everything at home, and I'm going to have to film everything in my apartment? Yes. So at the end of the day, if my money's gonna go anywhere, it's gonna go to where I live. I will give you guys the prices of each apartment that we looked at and show it on the screen, like when we're looking at it as well. And basically, my requirements were just, I needed to live in a doorman building. I needed to either have south or east facing windows, or have just a completely unobstructed view so that light can get in. And I needed there to be good closet space for all of my stuff because, like I said, your girl has a lot of stuff. So yeah, other than that, I didn't care if there was washer and dryer in unit or in the building. I mean, it was just like, I just wanted to find the best space for the best price that would be a place where I could be happy. And that was what's most important. And so yeah, initially I really wanted to be like below Midtown, but realistically you really don't see a ton of the luxury doorman buildings down there. Like a lot of them are, you know, farther up in Midtown East and Midtown West. And the luxury doorman buildings that are farther downtown are much more expensive, so those weren't exactly in the cards for me. We started the day looking over in Midtown East, then moved over to Midtown West, and we were going to go down to the financial district, but then at that point my agent was like, honestly, based on what you're liking so far, I think that it's honestly gonna be pointless if we go down there. Like, I know you're not gonna like it, so let's not waste our time. And I was like, okay, sounds good to me. So yeah, so then we didn't go down there. I'm going to show you guys all of the apartments that we looked at, as well as the amenities of some of these buildings. I didn't think that the amenities were going to be a huge factor in my decision until I was there. And I was like, wait a minute, this is so nice and actually is kind of a deal breaker for me. So I will talk a little bit more about that when we are getting into the footage and stuff. All right, so without further ado, let's start looking at the apartments. So the first apartment that we were looking at was in Midtown East, basically Sutton Place area. It was actually like literally a block away from Trader Joe's, so I was like, well, that's convenient. Love. And this one was about $3,600.
Okay, so this is basically the area of this first one. It's cute. Love the trees.
So the first one had a nice lobby, pretty typical, nothing too modern or anything, but it was really nice. The doormen were very kind. Pretty nice kitchen, nothing too crazy. It had a dishwasher, stove, everything that you could really need in a kitchen, so that was great. And this first apartment, it had a good light for like half the apartment, but then the other half kind of looked like a dungeon because, you know, there just wasn't really any light coming in on half of the apartment, and you would think that it would flood into the other half, but it very much did not, and it just kind of looked really dark in the corner. And obviously I guess that's where my bed would have been, but it just like was not ideal, especially because it was like a pretty decent sized space. So, you know, I'd rather it have light all throughout it instead of like light on one half and then like a dungeon on the other. I don't know. And while it was pretty big, there was like 3 closets, but they were all super small. And God knows that me, being so scatterbrained, would literally forget what's in each closet. Like I would have to label the closets for me to be like, that's that closet has that closet has that. Plus, since there wasn't a ton of closet space, then you have to get more furniture to put your clothes in, such as a dresser or an armoire, and then that takes away the space that you have. So think of that when we're going through this. The closet space ended up being like a big deal for me. So like I said, there were decent sized closets, but realistically not that big. It had a nice bathroom, but it was just nothing amazing. Plus it was like, okay, this is the top of my price range. Like, if I'm gonna be paying at the top of my price range, I should have everything I want and more. You know what I mean? And it wasn't necessarily that. So that's how I felt about the first one. So yeah, So this second one had an absolutely stunning lobby. It was so beautiful. Like, first impressions, I was just like, okay, this is beautiful. The doormen were very nice. And there were a lot of dogs in the building. And I love, love, love dogs. So it was a very pet-friendly building, which was great. And it was beautiful. It was just absolutely stunning. So like I said, I was using an agent, and I will put his Instagram right here. His name's Frankie. He's the best. And when you are looking for an apartment in New York City and you use a broker or an agent, you have to pay a broker fee, which usually ranges between 1 month's rent and 15% of the annual rent. So that's an upfront cost in addition to the rent for the year. So you have to factor that in when you're looking. So for me, Frankie would tell me if certain buildings are more willing to cover some of that broker fee. So some of the buildings will literally pay the broker fee for you so that you don't have to pay the broker fee, and they just pay the broker for you. And then, you know, so if that makes sense, or they'll pay most of the broker fee or part of it. That was something that ended up being a huge deal, especially because one, we were looking at the higher end of my price range, and two, if a building didn't cover the broker's fee, it probably would have ranged from $6,500 to $7,200 if, you know, they did the full 15% of the annual rent. In addition to first month's rent, security deposit, building fees. So that was also a factor. So keep that in mind. So now here's the second apartment. The kitchen is just absolutely stunning. I mean, that was like enough to sell me right there. It's beautiful. The bathroom's also super nice, warm lighting. This one was $350 more than the other unit that we had just looked at. So this was $4,000 a month. But for this one, the upfront costs were significantly lower than the other building. So when you do all the math, even though the rent of the other building was lower, all in all, it's gonna cost the same thing annually. Keep that in mind. But yeah, so bathroom, kitchen, stunning. It had the built-in refrigerator and freezer, which was like super cool. I mean, I've never had that in my entire life. This one also gives you a 2-week early occupancy. So it's basically just a half month free of rent. So then it actually brings the cost, the actual cost of the rent annually down to like $3,800 technically. There was also a huge built-in dishwasher. Like, you can't even see it. You couldn't even see that there was a dishwasher until I opened it. You just don't see that in New York. So the view from this apartment from that one window is just absolutely stunning. It's of the East River. It's just beautiful. It's so beautiful. So these windows were obviously east facing. This apartment was on the 15th floor, so pretty high up, but not like too high that it's like scary how high you are. You know, you look out that window and have that view. I mean, it's amazing. You see pretty buildings and water. Amazing, love it. So for this one, obviously the studio space itself is not very big, but the closet was really big, which was like a huge selling point for me. But this one had a washer and dryer in unit as well, which I was never even anticipating or thinking about. But then when we went to see other buildings that didn't have the washer and dryer in unit, I was like, oh, it is really nice to have that. Because if you don't have washer and dryer in unit, you have to pay to do your laundry every single time, which is like $2 to wash, $3.75 to dry, whatever. So like, that's a lot of money for every single load of laundry that you're gonna do. That's a lot, it adds up. So that's actually then another money saver. Same with the closet. Don't have to get as much furniture because there's a huge closet. And then the amenities in this building were just amazing. Like, the gym is on the rooftop. There's a stunning rooftop. There's all these, like, you know, communal workspaces. And then there was also a yoga room slash dance studio, so I could film my dance auditions in there. Like, and it was $800 for the year. Instead of me paying a $300 Equinox membership every month, $800 for the year. Like, come on, that's another money saver right there, is just that the amenities are in the building. So that makes it so much easier for me to actually go upstairs and work out. And two, I'm never gonna have to go rent out a dance studio in Midtown because there's one in my building. That's amazing. So those first two were in Midtown East, and now we're moving over to Midtown West. So this next one was also a beautiful building with a stunning lobby, but unfortunately this one was under construction. So it was under construction to be ready July 1st with, you know, brand new appliances, a washer and dryer in unit, and all the things. But it was definitely a little bit hard to visualize what it would actually look like. The thing about this one was it's bigger than that last one that we saw, but it only had one small closet. So it had like a sleeping alcove but in that sleeping alcove, you could probably fit only a twin or a full bed. And if you tried to do anything above that, you wouldn't be able to walk into your bathroom because the bathroom's over there too. It kind of defeated the purpose of that sleeping nook, if that makes sense. So it's just kind of like, like, what's the point, you know? Like, what's the point of having that if it's like not even functional? Because I would have just then made that into basically a walk-in closet or like a content corner. And this unit does look bright, but it was north facing, which kind of messed me up. I was like, really? Like, really? And I don't know. I mean, I think that I still don't understand why south facing is so much different than north facing. I don't know. Like, aren't they like the same thing? Like, they're the same thing. Like, the sun comes up over here and they're over here. So like, how is the sun more on the south? It's not. So
if 2 + 2 is 4, right? And 5 + 5 is 10.
Still doesn't make sense to me. So if anybody can explain that to me, let me know. But that did worry me because I was just like, well, but like everybody says that north facing is so bad. Like, this doesn't look so bad, but like, what if it is? What if it actually is? What if we're just here on a good bright day and like, I don't know. But it was an unobstructed view. It's nice. But yeah, not as nice as the view of the other one, I would say. This one was super nice. Also had stunning amenities. And then that one also had a common workspace, which was super nice. And yeah, also had the washer and dryer in unit. That one was $3,900. So pretty similar to the other one. The next one was in a really great building, no washer and dryer in unit, washer and dryer in the building, but this is the example of like, it was like $2 and then $3.75 for drying. And they were not able to show me the studio itself. They were only able to show me the Model 1 bed. And you know, obviously that was a little hard because the Model 1 bed was 1, south facing, and 2, it was a 1-bedroom. So it really didn't show me what the studio would actually be like. They said that there is like this similar like storage thing right when you walk into the apartment, but it's like similar to like one of those big IKEA armoires, and that's it. And that was the only closet space in there. It had a nice island and a nice kitchen, but like it's not like I cook that much. Like, I don't need my kitchen taking up so much space in my apartment. Like, I'd rather it be something else. So yeah, I mean, the island was nice, but at the end of the day, I kind of was just like, I can't even tell what this studio would look like. Plus, it was nice, it had a balcony, but I mean, I don't really care about the balcony. Like, I would rather go up to a rooftop anyway. And the balcony was small, just kind of like, not really like that worth it. I was just like, I don't really care about this. It's not really that big of a deal to me. This building did have beautiful amenities though. I think they had a pool, which was great, but like, really, am I gonna use a pool? Probably not. Like, I mean, I swam for 15 years, fun fact, but I'm realistically not going to use a pool. So the last apartment we went to see was also in Midtown West, but this was more just to kind of like see this one building because it's a really cool building. The unit that was available in the building was not going to be available until mid-September, and I couldn't wait that long. So we were just kind of seeing it for fun. This one was, I think, $36.75. So if you guys are looking for one to move in, you know, September, let me know. I can hit you up with the link. But it's a beautiful building, insane amenities, but it was like hopping for a Monday. Like, there were so many people in the gym for a Monday, like so many people at the pool for a Monday at 2 p.m. Like, I was kind of like, I don't know if I would love this. Like, some of the other places were just, you know, like so quiet in the gym where there's like nobody there, and I don't like working out in front of people. So I was like, yeah, like, why is it like this? Like, I don't know if I would like that. So yeah, so all in all, we saw 5 apartments, and I feel like that kind of gives you a summary of them. I think they were all great options. I think we had like 2 solid options. The one that we saw the 1-bedroom but couldn't see the studio. My mom loved that one, and she was going for that one. So just because we, you know, didn't see the studio doesn't mean that we were not considering that one. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions. I will let you know which one I chose because I am in the middle of signing the lease. Please comment down below which apartment you think it is and why. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.